to see if there's
Hey folks, we're live.
a notice.
Hey everybody, just checking in to see if folks are coming in.
Where do you see that?
I don't know. This is our first time
Hello,
doing Facebook Live.
World.
Hello, Facebook. Oh, we see one eyeball. That must tell us something. Just want to make sure you guys can see and hear us. Maybe pop something in a comment.
Look, we're up to 4.
Woohoo! We are moving up. So excited for today, right, Mike?
Absolutely. All right.
We'll give everybody a few more minutes. We got in here a little early. We want to start right around noon, and then we'll kind of get started on our Facebook Live. Hey, 8 folks, yay!
Is there any way for people to wave? Is there like a...
I'm seeing it. I'm going to see. Can you guys put a comment in somewhere so that we can see? Because remember, this is our first time doing this. I can't see how to see the comments. But you know what?
what about down there?
Oh, comments. Maybe we found something. Amazing. Hey!
Oh, there we go. Comments. All right. Howdy, y'all. Hey, England.
Hey, hi, Frank. Sarah, thank you. Hello, guys. Hi, Monica. Video and audio are good. Hey, this is exciting. Thank you guys so much for letting us know how we're doing. I really appreciate the time. I know for a lot of you, I was able to send a little video message this morning just to say thanks, because I know we're all busy and we appreciate
Absolutely.
your time coming in. So
Keep in mind, we're not professionals.
What?
We're not professionals at this.
At some things we are, though.
Yes. So the comments, we're going to have to just kind of scroll down to see, so bear with us.
That's okay. Oh, hello. Hi.
Hey, Patty.
Oh, we look
Vivian.
great. Thank you for saying so. I do this with my glasses all the time, and ask anyone who's ever worked with me. They're on, they're off, they're on, they're off. Yeah, that's just kind of like the ABCs about me. All right, one more minute, guys, and then we will be ready to share. Are you doing a drum roll?
I am.
Oh, but he was cheering for the Astros last night, weren't we all? And we're going to cheer tonight. It's okay. It's okay. We're the comeback team. We're a team that takes our time.
Turn it around starting tonight.
I know that Mayor Turner does not want to wear the Atlanta Braves stuff, so it's going to happen.
It's not touchscreen. Okay.
No, this is a Mac. It is not touchscreen. Thank you. Great to see you, Dorna. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. All right, so we are going to get started. We want to be really respectful for your time. So today, the whole concept and the idea came about because buying is tough. We want it to be a fun and it's exciting as you're a first-time buyer or a move-up buyer or you're moving to another city, but it can be challenging too on so many areas. So we came up with the concept of home buying made easy. And how do we do that? By giving you information, answering your questions, really helping you through the process so then it gets easier. You get more comfortable and confident with it. We want this to be fun. We want this to be interactive. So please keep shooting questions to us and things that you're curious about, or if you like something you went, oh, aha, I didn't know that. Like, share that with us so that we know. So, if we do this again, we'll just get smarter and we'll get better at it. I'm really excited to have
Me
Mike.
too. We're going to have some good information. It'll be very kind of topographical, but it'll be eye-opening perhaps, and hopefully generate some questions. That's what we're here for.
I want you to know Mike is a really good person. He's a great lender, does a great job, but he is kind. He's compassionate, and he just wants to help people, which is what this is all about. Buying a home is truly the biggest investment of your life, and we want to be partners with you on that to help you every step of the way. Now, most of you do know me, but I'll just share a little bit more for maybe those that don't. I love real estate, so you probably know that already. I had the opportunity to sell real estate for over 10 years in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Yes, in the winter. Yes, it was frozen. Yes, I got stuck. Hands were frozen. So were lock boxes. Couldn't get keys out with people in the car. Always good times. Here we're hot, humid, sticky, faces have melted off, and we're usually in our rubber boots. But that's the cool thing about this area. I also got to sell real estate with Village Properties in Santa Barbara, California, a whole nother market and a beautiful market, which I really loved. I've been in Houston now almost almost a decade. November will be 10 years. Now, Mike, I want you to know this about me. I like shoes and real estate. And here's what I'll tell you. I have moved and lived in Katy, Texas. I've lived in the West Chase District in Houston. I've lived in the Woodlands, Spring, and now a townhome in Memorial. So love real estate, love helping people. And my part is going to be really around the buying process. I have a fun little, it looks like snakes and ladders. I hope you can all see that. And anyone that wants this, I'll be sending that to you via email. It's a fun little game, but it shows you the buying process. And Mike's going to share about how you get qualified. So let's get started. Mike's going to tell us a little bit about himself and his background, and he'll go right into his section.
Perfect. All right, Mike McDermott here with Gibraltar Mortgage. And as Wendy indicated, I'm here to kind of give you the information on everything related to a home loan or a mortgage. And that's going to kind of cover 4 topics. We call it the 4 C's. It's credit, capital, capacity, and collateral. I've been in the business for 30 years, most of it right here in the Houston area. I live out in Katy, and I'm presuming even though we scroll, y'all can still see me. We're just looking for comments. But let's get into what I'm here to deliver for you. And we're going to start with the 4 C's. The very first one is credit. Obviously, getting a credit card, buying a car, buying a house with financing attached all requires that you have credit established. The industry in general requires a 620 or higher credit score. That's the typical level. And obviously, the higher your credit scores, the better the terms you may receive. And of course, the easier you may have in getting qualified on a credit basis. Credit scores can range from 350 to 850. So again, north of 620 is what we're looking for. And we pull what's called a tri-merge credit report. So that means the 3 national bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, are going to be the reports that we rely upon. And if there are 2 applicants, like a married couple or perhaps 2 friends that are looking to buy, the middle credit score of each one of those applicants is what we're going to focus on, and that's the lower of the 2. Okay, that was the first C, credit. Second C is capacity. So what is capacity? This follows simply your ability to repay the loan. The ability to repay the loan. So lenders are going to focus on 2 years of employment history. They're going to focus on your income, your type of income, how often you're paid. And they're also going to focus on what's called a debt ratio. That is the percentage of your income that goes towards debts. What are debts? Well, obviously, if you're buying a house, your mortgage payment, that's a debt. Credit card payments, car loan payments, student loans, perhaps child support, alimony. All of those items are factored into the debt ratio. And lenders typically are looking for a ratio of no more than 45% of your gross income being used towards those debts. Now, what if you're a business owner? You're self-employed, like Wendy. She's a real estate agent. Self-employed borrowers file their income on tax returns, right? So if you're a contractor, you file on a Schedule C. Excuse me. We lenders look at 2-year history, so 2 years of tax returns, to calculate income. So they can be a little bit more challenging than perhaps the wage earner who's got a monthly salary or perhaps paid by the hour. Okay, third C is capital. Basically, it is what it is. What have you saved to use towards a down payment and closing costs? So we will look at bank statements, checking, savings account, money markets, mutual funds. We'll also look at any stocks or bonds that you might have. If you have a 401k, an IRA, a trust account perhaps, or even if you're getting a gift from good old mom and dad, or in some instances, the state here in Texas has programs for down payment assistance. And those are funds that can help towards the required down payment and closing costs depending on the type of loan. Now, we all know cash is king in the market. Some of us still walk around with dollar bills in our pocket. That's good at Starbucks, but it cannot be used for a mortgage. Imagine that, right? Cash, not being able to use towards that. But that's kind of the basics for capital. And the last C is the collateral. So this is basically the house that you're looking to purchase. So whether it's a single family residence, like I live out in Katy, it's a typical little home. There's also home types that are townhomes, condos, perhaps a duplex or a triplex. So those property types all play a role in your qualifications, as well as, are you occupying the property as a primary residence, or are you looking to buy perhaps a vacation home, either down on the coast or near a body of water like a lake? Or if you're looking to buy it as an investment, so you're going to put a tenant in the property and cash flow, or hope to cash flow, to bring in some extra money. So the collateral plays a role in the type of terms, along with the capital, the credit, and the capacity. So that's kind of a topographical look of what we lenders do. And at this point, that kind of covers my part with mortgages. I know we're going to have some questions coming through, so we're going to kind of go over those now as we bring Wendy back into the camera here. And thank you very much.
Mike, so first of all, thank you. Great information. This kind of really is a starting point for a lot of people in the buying process, because we don't know what our buying power is. We don't know how much we can buy.
Absolutely.
So yes, we had some questions sent in ahead of time, and the first one is around credit score. So what is the difference between a FICO score? And let's just face it, some of us just go to Credit Karma and we think we are good to go. So tell us a little bit more about FICO score.
That's a great question. So we're going to start with Credit Karma. That is a consumer service that provides a snapshot of credit, what's being reported against your particular file, credit cards, car loans, student loans, etc. The Credit Karma formula to develop a score is proprietary, meaning it's called a Vantage score. It's their version of what your score analysis looks like. It is not used in the mortgage industry. We focus on the traditional FICO score, the Fair Isaac score. It's what all three bureaus use. They all have different formulas to get to their three-digit score. And that's what we use in the business for the mortgage. So Credit Karma is kind of a good guide, but don't rely on that as kind of the starting point on whether or not you're going to qualify credit-wise. Good question.
Yeah, thanks for that question, and nice helping us understand the difference. Another question came in. So when you're buying a new home, and it can be, that's a different process, and I'll go a little bit into that when I'm speaking, but when they have a preferred lender, what does that mean? Does it mean like we have to go with that lender, or can we shop around for a lender as well?
Good question. So yes, new construction. Obviously, here in Houston, we're growing. The suburbs are growing. We're building further and further out from downtown. There's a lot of builders. There's a lot of competition in that business. And as Wendy indicated, some builders have relationships with lenders, with title companies, and they'll dangle incentives to utilize those services. Sometimes the incentives are, honestly, they're significant enough that you want to stick with the preferred partner, meaning let's just talk through the lender. So you have builder A out there building in Katy, and they have a lender that they refer all their clients to, and if you use that lender, they're going to give you $5,000 towards your closing costs, or perhaps it's $5,000 in a reduction of the price of the house. So yes, those are things to consider when you're buying new construction. Obviously, it does not take away from the buyer's opportunity to shop their interest rate. Perhaps call me. I'll be happy to kind of compare terms. But that's a great question, and definitely something to consider.
All right. I just keep popping in and out. A couple more questions here, and one of them is around flood zones. And we know that climate change, and even on some of the platforms on real estate now, we're seeing elevation and possibilities of natural disasters. If we're in a high-risk flood zone, does that affect the mortgage and insurance? Like, how does that kind of work?
Yeah, that's another good question. So flood insurance and insurance in general is probably best reserved for talking with an insurance agent. But just so you know, when you qualify for a mortgage, not only does the insurance on the property become part of that qualification review, but so do the property taxes, and so do the homeowners association dues. But insurance in general, if your property is in a flood zone, and that's something Wendy's going to help you understand, not only do you get a policy to protect the house from Mother Nature, but you're going to get a separate policy to protect the house from any flooding. And if the property is in a flood zone, the flood insurance can be quite expensive. So be sure to check into that with an insurance agent.
Okay, last question for you, Mike, and it's a little off your kind of pre-approval 4Cs, but it is around lending, and it's about discount points. People have heard this terminology, discount points. What does that mean to the buyer? Is it worth them to do the discount points? How does that support their monthly payments?
Good question. So when lenders have established the qualification of a buyer, and now we're moving into, all right, let's say we've got you pre-approved to purchase a house at $250,000, and you want to do a small down payment of like 3 or 5%. Lenders will start figuring out what interest rate will correspond to the overall qualifications for that loan. And typically, a lender is going to present to a buyer 1 or 2, sometimes 3 different ways to arrange the loan. The first is to give you the basic rate, the rate that doesn't have any pass-through cost. The next option is going to be a lower rate, but it has a pass-through cost, and that pass-through cost is in the form of a discount point. Typically, a 1% discount point will improve the interest rate by about a 1/4 point. It's 1% of the loan amount. So a $100,000 loan has a $1,000 discount point that may take the rate from a, say, a 3.25 down to a 3. And that's kind of how it works on our end. Great question.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you so much for the questions and setting those in advance. And you can add them to the comments as well, and we will do our very best in our time frame to answer your questions. So I'm going to start sharing a little bit more about the home buying process. See you in a minute. This is kind of fun. I can just like move around whenever I want to. So thinking about real estate now from the perspective of your realtor working with you to home buy, the process really starts with us getting to know your wants and your needs. Whether we do this over the phone, we sit down together, we really want to go through what neighborhood really are you looking at. And I try to do first, second, and third choice. So that way we can increase our geographic location. What style of home do you want? Ranch, 2-story, condo, townhome? What kind of property are you looking for? Do you need to be in a certain district? And it really, for schools, is very important that we know the zoning of that property if that really is a deal breaker for something that you really absolutely need. Bedrooms, bathrooms, garage, amenities, there's so many things, and we go through that list together. And I want to preface this with my specialty is really residential real estate. So I do help people with single family homes, townhomes, condominiums, and in the multifamily up to 4 units, and very comfortable in that area. If you go over 4 units, and I know a couple of you on here are looking at commercial and commercial leases, we still get together first to go through your questions and build out sort of what your business portfolio would look like. And we partner with Better Homes and Gardens, our commercial district division, and we find the right partner for you. Same with farm and ranch. So if you're looking at, hey, I want to live out in Crockett, for example, well, there's lots to know about farm and ranch, from propane leases to sewer systems, and there's all kinds of things, and we need to partner with the right person. Same goes for if you don't live or you're moving to. I just referred dear friends of mine to Austin, and they just bought their new home, having it built up in Austin, because we found the right partner to help them. So once we know your wants and your needs, that's truly when Mike goes through, or your lender goes through, what is that buying power? What do I have to work with? And we get our pre-approval letter and proof of funds, because we're needing those 2 documents to go with us with an offer to purchase. So once we have that put together and we go through those processes, there are some paperwork that we do send out to you. We want to make sure that you understand about broker services and how we work if it's a situation where the same brokerage is on the selling side and the listing side. So we go through those documents together, and our buyer representation agreement to make sure that we understand that my fiduciary loyalty is to you as the buyer. I represent you in all the transactions and offers that we're going to be putting together. So then we build out a portal, a customized portal from the multiple listing service just for you based on what we went through in our wants and needs. Then we get in the car. This is the fun part. We get to go out and actually get into these properties and look at these properties. Right now, we really are truly in a very seller's part of the market where they are looking at multiple offers. So it really is good for us to know that buying power, because we might want to give ourselves a cushion before we write that offer. When we get to the offer writing, it won't be the first time you've seen the offer to purchase. We would have gone through that together ahead of time so that we know all those parts of it, what it means. And I want to just full disclosure, we are not lawyers, so realtors do not put any legal additional words, and we do recommend have a lawyer take a look. It is a contractual binding agreement that we put in writing. So now we have found our great house, and we're writing the offer. There's many things and many parts in that offer that we go through together. So when we're putting our offer, we include that approval letter, we include your proof of funds, and we should also have what's called a seller's disclosure form that is shared with that listing. And that's a really important document because that document shares everything and anything that homeowner knows about that property. So Mike asked about or the flooding. So did it flood? They will tell us, and what was done to remediate that. How old is the roof? How old are the appliances? And it's really for people that have lived in that home. So when you're buying a new home, you probably won't get a seller's disclosure, but because they never lived there. So just know that's a part of what we put in. So we're going to go through that offer with our purchase price, and we'll put in what's called our third-party addendum, financing addendum, which the majority of people do require. Not a lot of folks do have an all-cash offer, but it's great because we know exactly what Mike has shared. We know what your interest rate's going to be, what your term is going to be, and what amount you're approved to. So we know that you're going to get that loan, and that makes your offer look a lot better. We're also going to look at our earnest money. Now that is normally about 1% of the total purchase price. Now if we're in multiple offers, and it's called cooperative multiple listing service for a reason. We as buyer agents, we confer and we talk to those listing agents to find out what is important to their seller. It might not just be about the money. It could be they want to move out in 3 months or 2 months. They might want a lease back and we could offer that to them and move in at a later date. It's not just about the money, so we want to look at everything. When we look at that earnest money, it might be good to bump that up a little bit from the traditional 1%, just to show them how serious that we are and how much we want that property. The option period is also really important. That is our time to do all of our due diligence for inspections. So we are going to be looking at a home inspection, definitely. We recommend that on any property, every property, even new home construction property. Very important. I sold a house in Edmonton, brand new property, never been lived in. They had no insulation in the attic. Now, we all know what that does in Edmonton. Some of you are on this Facebook Live from Edmonton. And here, that wouldn't be good for our air conditioning units either. So that's important. And what we're really looking there for are big ticket items. So things to do with health and safety, looking at electrical, AC, roof, bigger ticket items. And those are things that we can negotiate. Remember this too, in real estate, we're all trying to get to this point where you love the house. You're the buyer. We've got our offer accepted. We were the best offer. Here's the seller. They don't want to start over with anybody else. They are happy with you. If there are repairs to be done or concessions to be made, those are things that we negotiate together. We go through that together. And if it's something that's a deal breaker, we can always terminate and come out, and that earnest money comes back. Option money, just to make sure that you understand, is a non-refundable part of the contract. So as we go through all those, and there's other tests if you want to do in that option period, we can do a hydrostatic test. Those have been around a long time, since the 70s. It's looking at under slab plumbing, and there's certain things as a different test from a home inspector, especially in older homes or a lot of tree wooded areas. There might be roots that have gotten to those pipes. Checking for any leaks, termite, foundation, whatever you want. It's truly up to you what you want to have inspected. And now we're going to go through, and once we have that option period, more and more steps come afterwards. So this is where that communication with Mike as our lender, because the home has to be appraised when we're looking at having a mortgage financed on that. We need a survey. If they have an old survey, but it is acceptable and nothing has changed, they sign what's called a T47, and that is notarized to say, hey, nothing has changed. And if it's acceptable to all parties, that saves us an additional cost of a survey. As we're going through too, we're going to look at who pays what, title policy, service contracts, generally known as home warranties for that first year, which I think are really important. But also it's really important for you to know when we look through our addendums is what's important to you. If they have non-realty items is what we're calling it on an additional form. So let's say we go in there and we love that washer and dryer. That washer and dryer is the top loading. That is the top of the line. I want that. But it's not written anywhere. That is a movable, same with a refrigerator. It moves. It's not a fix. It's not attached to the home. So we would want to make sure that we're covered and we get that in writing for you. Don't worry, we do a final walkthrough to make sure it's still there before we close. But I want you to know all that. It's important also what kind of neighborhood we're in. We love our acronyms in real estate. It's a PID, it's a PUD, it's a MUD, it's a HOA. We love all that. I live in a PUD. Who knew? Well, I knew. So that is a planned urban development is what that means. And it's got an HOA, and it could be single family, condominiums, and townhouses all in one little PUD. PID, and this is really important to understand the public improvement district, because we need to know that when we're buying a home. If there is a special assessment that they need to do because they're doing an improvement and we know about that, it could impact our property taxes. There could be extra fees attached to that. So really important. MUD districts are very popular and very a part of a lot of communities, and that's a municipal utility district. So mainly for water, sewer. You'll see the big water tanks. Now for my Canadians that are on the call, we don't see a lot of water tanks, but down here that is everywhere. And you got to be a part of that district to get your water to work. So HOA, our Homeowners Association. This is really important for us to read through very, very carefully. It is supplied by that homeowner association. We as realtors know who that is. That usually is provided in the listing agreement. And we want to know what are the rules, the guidelines. Like when you think about, hey, I'm moving from a rental, I'm getting into my own house, I can do whatever I want. I can bring my Great Dane, all my fur babies with me. Well, if it's a townhome or condominium, they might in their bylaws state, well, you can bring a dog, but it's only of a certain weight, or you can only have 2 animals. So there goes my cats and my dog. So you really want to make sure. And then on the residential side, you've got this beautiful home. There could be still restrictive covenants that were set by that developer from the very beginning. My grass has to be cut to 3 inches at all times. That's a thing. It really does. Or you can only have certain trees or number of trees in your actual area. So we want to make sure we're going through each of those together. All the addendums, all the things, and I want you to know that things can change over time. And homeowners, that seller that's listing the home, they have time to remedy things if it really isn't suiting us. There might be something that we can change. And then we get all the way to the closing table and the lender, right, Mike? We're all together. The escrow company, the title company, title policy, and the realtor, we are with you every step of the way. You do get your closing documents in advance. So you'll know exactly what you need to bring to the table and how they want those funds. So it's important to remember, like Mike had talked about, what you need to put down as your down payment, but you also need your closing costs. And those are clearly laid out for you. So it's really nice. You can see prorations of property taxes. You've got some HOA stacked away. You've probably got a few payments stacked away. And Mike can interject, and I know you guys have got some questions. But we really, it's a fun process when you do it right, when you feel comfortable and you feel confident. And of course, that's when we get to celebrate. We get to give you that key to your new home and the walkthrough. We just want to make sure, does everything look like when we saw it that day? They're going to be moving. It's going to be kind of messy. They're going to have boxes around. That's okay. But if there's a hole in the wall, or like I said, the washer dryer is missing, we wrote that. Those are things we're going to check in on. All right, Mike, how are we doing for questions?
Well, that one question came through about explaining the difference between a survey and an appraisal.
Yes.
Okay, so a survey is a one-dimensional drawing of how your house sits on the particular lot. So, most lots in a neighborhood, they're going to be somewhat rectangular, maybe a little bit pie-shaped if it's on a cul-de-sac. So a licensed surveyor is going to visit the home. He's going to mark the corners of the lot, and then he's basically going to draw kind of an outline of how the house sits on that lot. And of course, you'll have things like where the utility lines are, if there's any building lines, a building line meaning how far back from the street the house must be built. An appraisal, on the other hand, is what lenders order during the loan process to establish the value of the home. Again, we order an appraisal through licensed professionals. They're licensed here in Texas. Their job is to go and measure the home, make sure that the square footage is somewhat within a range of what's been reported on the MLS. They're going to establish value based on what homes in the neighborhood over the last 90 to 120 days have also sold for. So when you buy a house, let's say for $350,000, obviously we want to make sure it's worth at least $350,000. And that's the role that the appraiser has. Good question.
Mike, I really appreciate that, because another area that I wanted to share before we write that offer, it is important that I go through a full market analysis of that area and see what the trends are, what's happening in that, because it could be our pending amounts are moving forward, or they're staying the same, or they're decreasing. The other thing to think about when you're buying, look at properties that maybe have been on the market for a longer period of time. Whenever a listing comes on the market, it's like all the bulk of buyers that are just waiting for that next listing come in. And I've heard multiple offers right now, especially in the 300 or less category, 13 to 40 some offers on
crazy.
Each property. Right, and that's challenging, right, for us. So if there's properties out there that are 30, 40 days on market, they might have been ambitious when they listed, or maybe the motivation of that seller has changed. Any other questions? I know we're kind of coming to the end of this. Any other questions that you had received?
No, I had not. But let's look through here, I'll let you control and see if we have anything.
All right, let's see if we've missed anything. And please give us some comments how this has been going, what you like about this, what you're learning. Student loans, okay.
A couple on
you
student
got it?
loans.
Okay, let's go.
Now that is a great question. So, student loans are a debt, okay? And they do play a role in remember I talked about debt ratio earlier, how much you can qualify for. So let's say you've graduated from college, you're into your job, and you have a $50,000 student loan, and it's currently still in deferment. Well, the rules of lending require that we establish a default payment in order to account for that in your qualifications. Now, even though it's in deferment, and I think even today because of COVID, there might be some student loans that have a forbearance period where there's no payments required. We have to establish that baseline because it plays a role in the qualifications, because eventually that student loan is going to become due. Monthly payments will be made. Now, what I recommend in these situations too, is this little trick here, is if there's no payment reported, then we recommend that the applicant call their servicer, whether it's a government loan or a bank student loan, and have them calculate the minimum monthly payment or what the monthly payment would be. Sometimes that's less than the default that we use. And if it is less, we can lean on that, and that might kind of help with the overall qualifications. Great question.
Awesome. Again, we want to thank you so much. I want to make sure that everyone knows how to reach us. So wendy.richardson@garygreene.com is my email. I know a lot of you follow me already on Wendy Richardson, at Wendy Richardson Realtor for the Instagram, and know that my website is always available as well. Call, text, and if for those of you that do want, Mike has a little something to say about his home toolkit, so I want to make sure he gets that in. Really valuable information, and then we're going to wrap it up. So do you want to tell me about that?
So the Home Toolkit is a PDF document that when we're done, Wendy's going to gather email addresses from those that are interested, and we will share that with you. Basically, it goes a little bit more in depth into the application process, what it means to buy a home, all the steps involved, even what documents you need to have handy. So yes, be on the lookout for that. We'll be glad to share that with you.
And snakes and ladders, I will be sending that to you.
I love that.
Thank you, everyone. Again, this is our first time doing this. We really enjoyed it.
Look out, KPRC. We're coming after your jobs.
You think we got a little something going here? We can start our own little show. Again, please share feedback with us. This is something we probably will do again at some point on different topics. So let us know how we can help you. Thank you all so much for joining in.
Go Astros. Well done.
Did you see the